Guys, as of this recording, Bitmine just absolutely explodes, and as I have told you, we might have seen the bottom, okay? Some news that Jerome Powell will cut the rates, will absolutely let Bitmine go to 250 by the end of the year. I believe that the stock will go to thousands, and if you're looking into the chart, it's absolutely beautiful. We had the highs at 70, we had the lows somewhere at like 50, and now we're going back to 70 and more. All about in this video. Make sure to stay tuned.
Welcome to the game. I'm the wolf of Dubai.
Many times I get lots of negativity. My price target's too high. I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know what I'm doing. And in the end of the day, I buy more when it goes down. Okay, as you can see, I'm just buying. I just can't, like, I wish I could buy more, but I can buy only like $2,000 to $5,000 per day. I'm sharing this with you very transparently. I show you this in every potential video. And I also promise you, for every 100 likes, so smash the like button on this channel, you will see that I'm buying more and more of Bitmine. For every 100 likes, 50 more Bitmine shares. And let's look at this beauty. I mean, this is a day where my portfolio absolutely explodes, and I hope your portfolio explodes. And if you don't know me, my name is Danny, and I'm the Wolf of Dubai. I'm looking for stocks that have the potential to go 10x, 20x, 30x, the same way that Tesla did for me, or Palantir, or Robinhood, or now Bitmine. Okay, we are just in the very beginning, but if you are early, like we are here, if you're watching this video, congratulations, you are early. Then you can be like some of my subscribers that bought apartments and houses in the US thanks to my videos, thanks to my analyzers. So make sure to subscribe. And before we diving into the juicy part of this video, make sure to check out x10daytrading.com if you want to be part of my personal group, where we developed an own AutoPilot software that lets us send you all the day trades that we are doing on everyday basis, and schedule a call personally with me, and we will write it together. The only condition is you need $10,000 or more to start, but if you have that, check out and book a call right now. Now, what actually happened? Yes, this was actually my expectations, and that's why I was loading up the whole week, because Jerome Powell was in a very hard situation. Okay, for the one part, inflation seems to be like kind of stuck, goes a little bit higher. Okay, so economical data showed that this might be the case, but jobs dropped dramatically. So he has to balance those two things as the Fed chair. Then he came out at Jackson Hole. This is one of the most important conferences for the Federal Reserve, and he came out with following. Look at his speech, and then we will talk about what actually this means.
In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. Our policy rate is now 100 basis points closer to neutral than it was a year ago. And the stability of the unemployment rate and other labor market measures allows us to proceed carefully as we consider changes to our policy stance. Nonetheless, with policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance.
Look at the Dow hitting a record high following Fed Chair Jay Powell's remarks this hour, signaling a policy adjustment. Joining us here to unpack what we just heard, Tom Lee, head of research at Fundstrat, chief investment officer of Fundstrat Capital. Good day to be a bull like yourself, Tom.
Yes, it is.
How do you process what we just heard?
Well, I think that it's the Fed acknowledging that the risks now are tilted for the labor market to be softening, and they want to head that off, especially because they don't think that tight labor markets are going to necessarily create inflation. That's a very good sign, and I think it means we have a dovish Fed again, and that's kind of a green light for small caps.
Small caps
and for equities.
They are working. Last I looked, small caps were up 3%. So is this what we need to really confirm the sort of broadening that comes and goes in the market?
Yeah, because I think that one of the things we should watch for is what happens to mortgage rates. But mortgage spreads are right now 360 basis points higher than the 10-year. Historically, it's 1.6 percentage points. So you could see a huge drop in mortgage rates. That's going to help housing, helps the financial small caps. And I think already the ISM, which has been below 50 for almost 30 months now could finally go back above 50, and that's a good sign for industrials.
Although we had a discussion right on the heels of the speech about a little steepening in the curve. Is there a sense that the vigilantes are at least present, if not being necessarily vocal?
But we could also be steepening because growth expectations are improving as well. So this could be like what I'd call a bull steepening. I'm not really sure what the fixed income terms are, but I think it's actually a positive sign for growth.
The only real losers today are going to be some of the yielders and some staples. Would you be cautious on those?
That's right. I think that markets have been holding their breath. They've been getting defensive. That's why we've been bleeding for 5 days. And so now I think there's a relief and some capital gets put to work, and it's good for equities and risk assets.
So, all right, we need to make some news here, Tom. Everyone listens to you. We're at record highs now for the S&P and the Dow. How much more can these stocks rally?
I think there's a lot of upside, especially because, once you get an ISM back above 50, it really does argue for a broadening of markets. And I think one of the leaders probably comes from the financial sector. So I think, towards the end of the year, 6,800, 7,000 is possible.
Led by tech still?
Yeah, so I think you still want to play
this week.
Yeah, you want to be long AI and the crypto trade because those have been the market leaders. So the Mag 7, Bitcoin, Ethereum. But the broadening is really the financials, industrials, and small caps.
So you like them all?
Yeah, it's kind of cyclicals, AI and crypto, but not the defensives.
Your crypto calls have been getting a lot of attention lately, especially on Ether.
Yes.
Where we were talking earlier, we were debating whether it's the future of the financial system. A lot of people are thinking, people like you have said that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really important moment happening this year with, the Genius Act, really greenlighting stable coins, and then Project Crypto, which is Wall Street moving on to the blockchain. I think it's a lot like 1971 when the US dollar went off the gold standard. That created the innovation of Wall Street because they had to sort of essentially create this synthetic dollar. Wall Street moving on to the blockchain is a bigger moment, and I think that's why Ethereum is essentially having its 1971 moment equivalent.
But a lot of people just see it as wild speculation and froth.
I'd say anytime something goes up, people tend to call it froth. I think they called AI a frothy trade now, but we know it has a lot of legs, and it's been taking place for a couple years. Keep in mind, Ethereum is also the place where when agentic AI comes together, when you have robots and you want proof of human, you want to make sure those commands come from, a verified source. That's all taking place on a smart contract. A lot of it will be Ethereum.
So cuts in September is something that everyone finally loves, okay? First of all, you had like a down sell of the recent highs. The whole market was selling. They didn't know what Jerome Powell will say. Will he be signaling some cuts or not? But he finally did. And this means not only the whole market is rally, there is one single group of assets that will absolutely explode as lower the rates are, and this is crypto, guys. Okay, crypto absolutely insanely go up. Okay, and now let's dive in what this means for Bitmine and for crypto in general. Because if you're looking, for example, into Bitcoin is up 3.54%, but then you have Ethereum just absolutely exploding 10%, guys. 10%. This is absolutely ridiculous, and obviously that helps now Bitmine, BMNR, to go much more higher. As of this recording, it's already 13% up. I think the rally can continue, and we might have seen the bottom. Okay, I told you that. I don't know how more clear I can make this for many people that are negative about the stock, about the market. Guys, stocks go up, rates go down, and the crypto goes insane. And a company that buys more and more crypto will obviously go absolutely ballistic. So you can see here that since I'm talking on this channel, the stock went up 115%. Then, everybody was trying to be negative on me. They said like, I don't know what I'm doing, whatever, it's sinking like the Titanic. So it had like a nice buying opportunity of 30%. And then we have obviously today the 12 and maybe most probably maybe much more % gain on Friday. Now, I believe that if this is the case and the market liking and digesting this information, I think that this means that crypto will absolutely blow out. Okay, this means and could mean that for Ethereum, this could be the absolutely push over the all-time highs that we had somewhere around like 4,650. Okay, because we are very close. Okay, we are very close. So this can be a total outbreak. Then we can see 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, and then you can say goodbye because Bitmine will first go to 100, then 150, and then to my price target of 250 by the end of this year. Okay, this is very important because I believe that this is a very, very early stage, guys. Okay, as more as Bitmine can acquire, and they're acquiring much more than Aspet or any other crypto company out there. They have the most Ethereum, and they are actually increasing their Ethereum just dramatically. And I'm sure that they come out around the 29th of August and will tell us a new record-breaking number that they have in Ethereum. And if Ethereum stays this way, and Ethereum just like is on a crazy run since about like March 2025, which we increased already by 200%, can go another 2, 3, 400% run. Okay, so this is the most important part of the whole video, that lower rates let crypto explode, and crypto, especially Ethereum, will let Bitmine explode. And this is how this all works, guys. Okay, you buy in, you average down when it goes down, and you just keep on buying more. Okay, I'm saying this over and over. I'm showing it to you that I'm buying every single day, and I cannot stress this more, that we are all very, 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 very early. Okay, so make sure to stay at the last part of this video because I want to show you something else which is very, very important. And before we doing that, make sure to smash the like button and check out x10daytrading.com, where we can trade for you with our special AutoPilot software that we developed by our own. I spent over $1 million to develop the software, and there's nothing else out there. We trade US stock market options on daily basis. We're sending out the trades into your portfolio directly, all done for you. So check it out and let me know if you have $10,000 or more. Then you can schedule a call on the website, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you.
One quick question. You said if you had 3 great companies, wonderful businesses, they could last you a lifetime. And one thing that struck me in the way that I followed your investing is that you wait until great businesses get pounded down, and then you bet big on them, like American Express and Disney at one time. And my question is, I have capital to invest, but I haven't yet invested it. I have 3 great companies which I've identified, Coca-Cola, Gillette, and McDonald's. And my question is, if I have a lifetime ahead of me, which I want to keep an investment for more than 20 or 30 years, is it better to wait a year or two to see if one of those companies stumble, or to get in now and just stay with it over a long horizon?
Yeah. Well, I won't comment on the 3 companies that you've named, but in general terms, unless you find the prices of a great company really offensive, if you feel you've identified it, and by definition, a great company is one that's going to remain great for 30 years. If it's going to be a great company for 3 years, it ain't a great company. I mean, so you really want to go along with the idea of something that if you were going to take a trip for 20 years, you wouldn't feel bad leaving the money in with no orders with your broker and no power of attorney or anything, and you just go on the trip and you come back and it's going to be a terribly strong company. I think it's better just to own them. I mean, we could attempt to buy and sell some of the things that we own that we think are fine businesses, but they're too hard to find. I mean, we found See's Candy in 1972, where we find here and there we get the opportunity to do something, but they're too hard to find. So to sit there and hope that you buy them in the throes of some panic, that you'd sort of take the attitude of a mortician, waiting for a flu epidemic or something. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm not sure will be a great technique. I mean, it may be great if you inherit it. Paul Getty inherited the money at the bottom in 32. I mean, he didn't inherit it exactly. He talked his mother out of it, but It's true, actually.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough, right? But he benefited enormously by having access to a lot of cash in the early 30s that he didn't have access to in the late 20s, and so you can get some accidents like that. But that's a lot to count on, and if you start with the Dow at X and you think it's too high, when it goes to 90% of X, do you buy? Well, if it does and it goes to 50% of X, it gets you never get the benefit of those extremes anyway, unless you just come into some accidental sum of money at some time. So I think the main thing to do is find wonderful businesses.
So you see what Warren Buffett in this clip was preaching. Obviously sometimes you are very lucky and you get a lot of cash, maybe a bonus, or maybe you get it from your grandma, and you put it into a time where the market is very low. But, this is how he said, a very, 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 very big coincidence, okay? Most of the time, you find a beautiful company like Bitmine and you just keep on adding every month, every week. If it goes down, you are happy because you can buy more for less, and if it's going higher, you already in and you are happy when it's going up. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. There's no perfect time to buy. There's always the most important, always buy a great company, and this is what I'm emphasizing here on this channel, guys. Taking this wisdom of a Peter Lynch or a Warren Buffett and putting into beautiful companies managed by really great people like Tom Lee, and with those big investors like Katie Wood or Peter Thiel, Bill Miller, and Stan Druckenmiller. It's like you have an A team of people that believing into that. So why you shouldn't? Obviously, this is never financial advice, and make your own research and decisions, and make sure to check out x10daytrading.com. I know that this is for many people that would love to have some profits from the stock market but don't know how to trade. We do everything for you with our special software. We send the entry and the exits all automatically. You just have to switch it on. It's our own software. So if you have $10,000 or more, check it out. And finally, to close this vlog, I would love to say one more thing, okay? You will never find the perfect time to buy and never the perfect time to exit, okay? Neither do I or Warren Buffett or Peter Lynch, none of them, okay? You can just find great companies, and I'm sharing those great companies over the next couple of decades here on this channel. But obviously some, trades and investments are only for my group, and I want to make sure that you are always early whatever stock I'm talking here on this channel. So make sure to subscribe, and I see you tomorrow with a brand new video on BMNR. So make sure to subscribe and like, and remember, the grass is greener on the other side.